welcome to the international programme. Summertime is Kirchweih time, and that got us thinking about all the traditions that are part of the Kirchweih. We're familiar with some of these traditions, but there are many that we didn't know about. So we started investigating. Great music, a variety of food options, games and rides for people of all ages, sunshine and happy people everywhere, and of course plenty of beer.
Prost.
This must be just like living in paradise.
This year's summer Kirchweih, or Kerwe as it's called in Franconia, had it all. The word Kirchweih literally means consecration of a church, and until about 100 years ago, a Kirchweih could only be held in a village with a church. This solemn religious aspect of the Kirchweih has always existed, along with a more secular, festive side. With its roots in the Middle Ages, it's not surprising that the Kirchweih has a wealth of tradition and history. But for those of us who have not grown up with these traditions, there are a lot of unanswered questions. What exactly is a Kirchweih? What is the importance of the Kirchweih tree? What does the tapping of the beer barrel signify? A few weeks before the festivities kicked off, on this very stage, we met up with Dr. Manfred Welke to get some answers. Dr. Welke, where does the name Kirchweih come from? What does it signify?
Originally, it was a celebration held on the feast day of the church patron. The Kirchweih was the church consecration, and during the church consecration, the altar of the church was blessed by the bishop.
So it's a type of parish fair,
Yes.
Kirchweih.
Yes.
Are Kirchweih celebrated all over Germany?
Kirchweih are celebrated in many cities in Germany, both in small towns and in large cities. And every village incorporated to Herzogenaurach celebrates its own Kirchweih. Niederndorf, Hauendorf, Burgstall, Hauptendorf, yes.
Are Kirchweih celebrated on the same day everywhere?
The Kirchweih in our region started beginning of May in Hemhoven. The Franconian Kerwe typically lasts 4 or 5 days, from Friday to Monday. And here in Herzogenaurach, the Kerwe lasts 10 days.
So each town or each area has the Kirchweih at a different time in a season?
Yes, from May to November. From May to November. It ends in November with the Martini Kirchweih in Herzogenaurach.
Has the Kirchweih changed very much from the time it started?
No, constants include the beer benches, the beer stands, food stalls, and rides like the chain carousel. And our grandparents dancing here on the platform. The Kirchweih is very important for smaller towns. At the Kirchweih in smaller towns, the festival includes the Kirchweih parade on Sunday and the Kirchweih couple dance around the Kirchweih tree on Monday.
When was the first Kerwe in Herzogenaurach?
The original Kirchweih in Herzogenaurach was the St. Martin Kirchweih in November. And the first Martini Kerwe was held in 1914. And the Kerwe here in the Weiersbach was first held in 1952.
So the summer Kirchweih is a newer tradition than the St. Martin's
Yes.
Kirchweih. One of the beer festivals that everyone seems to talk about is the Bergkirchweih in Erlangen. How does that compare to Herzogenaurach?
The Herzogenaurach Summer Kerwe is much better than the Erlanger Bergkirchweih.
What's the significance of the traditions of tapping the barrel?
The mayor of Vereinsvorstand tapped the beer keg and said, O-Zapf ist. O-Zapf means the tap is in the beer barrel. Once the first beer barrel is tapped, the Kerwe is officially opened.
The Kerwebaum is a symbol of the Kirchweih. Where does the tree come from?
The Herzogenaurach Kirchweihbaum is brought from the forest, usually from the Birkenbühl. In our region, it's customary to use a spruce tree that has been stripped of its branches all the way to the top.
Is there a minimum height?
As a general rule, the taller, the better.
The taller the better.
Yes, it's a Kirchweih symbol, and everywhere has to see it. Im Seebachgrund, the Kirchweih Baum has 13 meters and more.
Wow. How is the tree decorated and what colours are used?
The tree has a wreath at the top, and it's decorated with the ribbons in red and white, the Franconian Farben.
Yeah, I've sometimes seen the trees decorated in other colours, such as blue and white, but the Franconian colours, red and white, are more important. We heard there's a tradition of stealing the Kirchweih Baum. Is that a problem here in Herzogenaurach?
Stealing the Kirchweih Baum is not common in our region. But the greatest disgrace when the bark is stripped from the tree. So the tree is guarded from Friday to Monday to protect the bark.
Guarding the tree is a task that is taken extremely seriously, and it is even guarded at night by the local lads of the village, called the Kerversborschen or Ortsborschen.
The Ortsborschen are a group of not married men, local men, and they are having a good time together to organize and celebrate the Kerwa. Most of them are part of the local football club. For me, it's important because it's traditional. We're celebrating the church day or the name day from the church, so it's a good time to meet all the friends.
A few years ago, our Herzo international team accompanied the Kerversborschen on their mission to raise the Kerwa tree. The day started pretty early for the lads. A tall, straight tree with a beautiful crown had already been felled by the forester. Getting the heavy tree out of the forest and into the village without damaging the crown or the trunk is always a challenge. Today, a tractor is more practical, but for centuries the tree was transported by a donkey or a horse-drawn wagon. Decorating the tree is not only fun, it's a very important part of the process.
We want to show the other villages how beautiful our tree is and our Kerwa, and this is the main reason we decorate it. We use white and blue. This is the color from our football club, but other villages use red and white. These are the Franconian colors.
And then it was time to raise the tree, an exhausting process that could take a couple of hours. This is where German technical expertise perfected over the centuries come into play. The tree was raised by a few centimetres at a time with the help of long poles and a sturdy ladder that was repeatedly repositioned to provide additional support. Once the tree was finally up, it was wedged firmly into place with logs, and the hole was filled with earth.
So if you're driving around with your car and you see a tree, come over, have a good time. Everybody is welcome. You can drink beer, you can eat the German food, you can listen to the traditional German music and celebrate the Kerwa, and
The world's tallest invitation card is also a symbol of community, solidarity and village pride. It takes a village to decorate and raise the tree. Today, the boundaries between the gender roles no longer exists, but traditionally the women of the village make the wreath, the young men do the heavy lifting, and the rest of the village are there to offer guidance and encouragement. The end of the festivities is marked by the Raustanzen. Accompanied by a live band, the young couples walk in a procession towards the Kerwa tree. A willow branch adorned with colourful ribbons is carried at the head of the procession. The couples dress in black and white, and the boys also wear a white apron decorated with ribbons and flowers by their dance partners. Traditional Kerwa songs are sung as they dance around the Kerwa tree. A rooster striking contest is sometimes held after this dance. The rooster is merely a spectator in this competition. Nobody actually strikes it. Contestants are blindfolded, handed a stick, and spun around a few times. Everyone has just one attempt to hit an old pot that stands in for the rooster, and the winner gets to take the rooster home.
You better love somebody. You better love somebody.
Music and dance have always been essential components of the Kerwa. Earlier, the dances were formal affairs with people dancing on the stage to music from a live band. Today, live bands are as popular as ever, but the dances are more spontaneous. So that has changed, and of course change is the only constant. Although many of the traditions are followed even today at our Kirchweih, it has had its fair share of changes. The most obvious ones are a large area set aside for games and rides and the international cuisine that complements the traditional German food. Despite these changes, or is it because of them, the Kirchweih here remains as popular as ever. Let's find out.
This is my second time. I have a chance to visit here 3 years ago, 2023. And I'm very happy to be here again. I really like the signature of the town, Herzogenaurach. Yeah. I really enjoy the culture, the activity, the people, and especially the beer here in Herzogenaurach.
So I'm from Herzog and I'm visiting the Herzog Kirchweih since I was a child, first with my parents, later on with my friends. Now I'm coming with my family. And I like to come here because it's a small beer fest. You can sit outside, meeting a lot of friends, and you see them only at this time at the Herzog Beer Fest.
So more than 30 years ago, I moved to Herzogenaurach, and this was the time when I joined my wife first to the Herzog Kirchweih. And then we're coming back every year because we like the atmosphere, and it's not so crowded. You can sit under trees, and this is more this familiar kind of a Kirchweih. This is what we really appreciate on that.
I actually come from Bangladesh and I studied in Erlangen and now working with Adidas. I've been here for almost 8 years. It's one of the best beer fest here. The reason I like it very much because, you know, there are spaces or personal space people can enjoy and not so much crowded like Erlangen. So that's the main reason I'm coming here every year.
I come to the Kirchweih since I was a teenager and since I went to school here in Herzogenaurach to the gymnasium, and we met there with our school friends, and we went here like every day, I think. And I like it very much because you meet a lot of people you only see once a year, and you can meet with friends as well. You can meet with family, so you literally meet everybody you know here. So I come here every day, in fact.
I'm born in July 1953. And the first time when I was here on the Kirchweih, this was 5 days after my birth.
So you were only 5 days old, your very first
I was
visit.
5 days old, and my parents, my father and my mother, they had, let's go to the Kirchweih in Herzog. And you can say, since that time, since 1953, I'm here, I think, more or less every year.
So it's a really important event because it also marks your birth.
For me, it is very important. I have some special places, and at that places I met every time good friends, colleagues from the school, from the work, and so on. It's fun to stay here, to hear the music, and sometimes when I have no time or when I sit at home on my balcony, I can also hear the music. It's great.
Thank you for watching. We look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.